Deep in the mountains of Massachusetts, cut straight through solid rock, is one of the longest railroad tunnels in the United States. The Hoosac Tunnel stretches nearly 5 miles underground. It took over 20 years to build, and by the time it was finished, more than 190 workers had died. Explosions, cave-ins, and toxic gas filled the tunnel without warning. Men were trapped underground, some suffocated, some drowned, and in certain cases their bodies were never recovered. The tunnel earned a name during construction, the Bloody Pit. The following stories are based on real reports and accounts shared over the years. Based on real reports, based on real fear. Most of these reports don't come from a single source. They're scattered. Different people, different years, different reasons for being inside the tunnel, but the experiences often follow the same patterns. Footsteps. One report comes from a maintenance worker assigned to inspect a section of the Hoosac Tunnel alone. It was routine, something he had done many times before. He entered the tunnel with a flashlight, the beam stretching out just far enough to keep the darkness at a distance. Everything sounded normal at first. The faint echo of his boots, the distant hum of air moving through the tunnel. Then, after a while, something changed. The tunnel became quieter, not silent, just quieter than it should have been. He kept walking, and that's when he heard it. Another set of footsteps behind him. At first, he didn't react. He assumed it was an echo. The tunnel plays tricks with sound. Everyone knows that, but after a few seconds, he noticed something wasn't right. The rhythm didn't match his own. His steps were steady, measured, but the ones behind him were slightly off. Half a step late, he slowed down. The footsteps behind him slowed too. He stopped. For a moment, there was nothing, just the sound of his own breathing. Then, one more step, not his, behind him. He turned. The beam of his flashlight cut through the darkness. Empty tracks, empty tunnel, no one there. He stood still for a few seconds longer, listening, nothing, so he turned back and kept walking. A few moments later, the footsteps returned, this time closer, keeping pace with him, matching his speed, stopping. When he stopped, he never saw anyone, but he finished the job faster than usual, and he never went back into that section alone again. The figure. Another report came from 2 workers walking through the Hoosac Tunnel together during an inspection. Unlike working alone, this should have felt normal, safer. They were talking as they walked. Their lights moved across the walls, cutting through the darkness in front of them. At first, everything felt routine, until one of them stopped mid-step, not suddenly, just gradually, like something ahead had caught his attention. The other worker took another step forward before noticing. "What is it?" he asked. The first didn't answer right away. He just raised his light and pointed. At first, it didn't look like anything, just a darker patch along the wall. But as both beams focused on the same spot, the shape began to form. A figure, standing still, just off to the side, not moving, not reacting, just there. They both stood there, watching it, trying to make sense of what they were seeing. Neither of them spoke, because there wasn't anything to say. They were both seeing the same thing, and then, without warning, it was gone, not moving away, not stepping back, just gone, like it had never been there at all. Both lights now hit nothing but bare wall, empty space. Neither of them moved for a few seconds. Then one of them finally said, "You saw that, right?" The other nodded. They didn't finish the inspection. On the tracks. One of the most unsettling reports came from a train engineer traveling through the Hoosac Tunnel. The train entered the tunnel at a steady speed, the headlight cutting a path through the darkness. Inside the cab, Everything felt controlled, routine. The rails stretched forward in a straight line, nothing unusual, until something appeared in the distance. At first, it was barely visible, just a shape in the beam. The engineer assumed it was debris, something left on the tracks. It happens, but as the train moved closer, the shape didn't change, didn't shift, didn't move. That's when he focused on it, really looked at it, and realized it wasn't debris. It was standing upright. A person centered on the tracks. The engineer reached for the horn, waiting for a reaction, waiting for them to move, but they didn't. No step to the side, no hesitation, nothing. They just stood there, completely still, as the train closed the distance, seconds away now. There should have been panic, movement, something, but there wasn't. And then, just before the point of impact, the figure disappeared. No motion, no fall, no sound, just gone. The tracks ahead were clear. The engineer checked again. Nothing, no one, nowhere for them to go. For over a century, people have continued to pass through the Hoosac Tunnel. Workers, engineers, inspectors. Most never experience anything unusual, but the reports never fully stopped. Different people, different years, different reasons for being inside the tunnel, and yet the patterns remain. Footsteps that don't belong to anyone, figures that appear and disappear, and something that waits on the tracks. If you found this story interesting, make sure to subscribe for more real reports from places with histories like this. And if you've ever heard anything you couldn't explain, let me know in the comments.